Hi there, John and Mike, brew-dudes.com, and it's another homebrew exchange. I believe this is number 11. You know what's going to happen is, it is 11, because 10 was the last one. Thing is, I'll say that, and then it'll be 12, and then I'm introing it as number 11, but I'm pretty sure it's number 11. Matt, a guy who watches our video channel, wrote to us and sent us a Kolsch. It's funny because he said that he was not very happy with it. And I think he just wanted us to taste it to talk about, I don't know, what we perceived from what he sent us in terms of the beer. But I just, he was, the emails that came in were like, well, I brewed this, not super happy with it, but you guys can have it.
Awesome.
No,
well, first of all,
just joking.
First of all, big props to saying, hey, you know what? Here's something that's not great. I'm not happy with it.
Yeah.
But I want you to try it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let us know what you think.
So, I think that's huge because that's how we all get better. Because I think it's great to taste this and go, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying the problems are, and this is what I think about it. You know, so I think it's a good way to have like
Sorry, I'm looking at my phone.
the best we can do have that dialogue through YouTube.
He sent the
and by
recipe
email
over,
too. So
yep.
Yeah,
so,
you want to shoot the recipe out?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. So majority of the grain bill is Pilsner malt. He's got this is a 5-gallon batch. I'm guessing 1.5 pounds of wheat malt is in here. A pound and a quarter of light Munich, and then just a smidge, a quarter pound of caramel 30. And then for hops, he bitters 60 minutes into the boil. To go in the boil, 0.4 ounces of Magnum. At 20 minutes to go, he's got 0.5 ounces of Tettnang. And then at 10 minutes, he throws in 1.24 ounces of Hersbrucker, another great German hop. And then the yeast that he uses is WLP 029, which I believe is their Kolsch strain.
German ale Kolsch,
Yep. I think he sent another message, which I don't think is in this strain, but he did mash it, I think, 149 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm sure it was for 60 minutes. You know, for a Kolsch, what we're looking for here, I'm guessing we're looking for a little lighter.
Definitely a lighter color.
In color. And then, you know, kind of like lagerish in terms of its flavor and mouthfeel, and then, you know, a little ale-ish kind of.
Well, I don't know. For me, like, the Kolsch mouthfeel is not so much lagerish, because lagerish to me is like clean and flat and has like a crisp edge to it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Where to me, Kolsch is like this softer, kind of rounded mouthfeel. I mean, it can still be light mouthfeel, but it's got a real pillowy malt. It's a really unique thing. When it happens right, it's absolutely,
it's like a
wonderful.
pillow on your palate.
It's actually great. So to break it down right off the bat, first of all, I know earlier in the string you talked about chill haze. This beer is got minimal haze to it. I mean, it's not crystal clear, but it's by definition it's clear. So that's working. It is a little dark. You know, later in the email you mentioned adjusting the Crystal 30.
Yep.
I would just dump the Crystal 30 altogether. It doesn't really need to be in here. Unless you're trying to go for like a red Kolsch or a darker type of Kolsch thing, which, you know, is more of a boutique way of doing Kolsch sometimes. But when I think Kolsch, people want to see like a yellow to golden thing and keeping it simple.
So we talked about Pilsner malt, we talked about wheat malt, but then there's light Munich. Would you keep the light Munich in there?
For a little complexity, it's not going to kill you, as long as that's Munich 10 and not Munich 20, because I think if it is Munich 20...
Well, it's light.
Yeah, so it's hard to say, because the different suppliers use the colors different ways.
Could be 5, could be 7.
Because there's like an 8 out there, and then there's like the 10 and the 20.
Yeah.
Competing with a 30 Love Crystal, I mean, then you've got that makes it even tougher. The Munich is fine. I'm okay with the Munich in there, per se, especially at that level.
Yeah.
But I think, so the first thing I got in the aroma right away is there's definitely a cooked corn aroma. So I think what we're experiencing here, what you don't like about it, for sure, the thing that's keeping it from softening out and being a crisp, Kolschy experience is that corn flavor. and you even mentioned you think it came out a little bit too sweet, and I think that's the corn. It's the DMS from the Pilsner malt. So I would go back and look at maybe trying to boil a little harder, boil a little longer. The other thing too, the 149 mash temp, you might want to mash for 90 minutes. It just helps with the conversion at a lower temperature. You might need a little more time. I usually split the difference sometimes. I'll mash for 75 minutes rather than go a full 90 minutes just to save a little time. But you don't need to lengthen your boil if you just boil a little harder. I mean, don't go crazy with the boil, but if you boil a little harder, that'll help with the DMS too. I mean, I think that's really the primary flaw here that's giving you a perception of sweetness. There's a little bit of like wet tobacco, but it's mostly a vegetal DMS thing.
Okay. Now, are you? I'm getting some Belgian ale notes too.
So there's another note in there. You said it tasted better before carbonation. It could be this bottle, and you maybe tasted a bottle like this. There could be a touch of some other microbial contaminant in there that's starting to throw a little phenol, because it does taste a little bit phenolic. There's a touch of phenol in there. That could be freshness of the hops, but I would think that potentially, seeing how there's very little head retention in here too, that there's some structure, some protein structure in here, some residual dextrins are being broken down by another microbe that's throwing a little phenol and is killing any hopes for head retention. I mean, so that's how I kind of break that down. So, I mean, it's hard to say that it's contaminated because it's not a gusher, it's not whatever.
Yeah.
But if you took a couple bottles and put them someplace warm for an extra week and cracked them open and they were really carbonated, then you know that you probably got something else going on there. He doesn't indicate, Matt doesn't indicate in the email what the final gravity was. If it did finish fermenting and it's doing this, then it's definitely something else in there.
Yeah.
But I think that the hop profile is going to work and work well.
Yeah.
It's definitely there in the right proportions, and the rest of the recipe looks great for a Kolsch. I dumped the crystal altogether. It's just not worth it. And I wouldn't worry about adjusting your water, because that's just get the other stuff going for you first. People, I think, in this age, there's so much talk about water chemistry. There's so much talk about these other things. It sounds redundant, but you really got to focus on some of those basics before we can move on to the other stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even like I've been brewing for a long time, and one of our last videos was the first time that I really got a good handle on a side-by-side water chemistry thing. So, water's great and it's important, but this is the stuff that you get bigger rewards with this than you. If this was fermented really well, and if the process went really well, there was no cooked corn in here, a great fermentation here is going to get you this much of a return, but a great water with a mediocre fermentation is going to only give you that much of a return.
Sure.
Right?
Got it. Yeah.
So, and that's even all the other experts say that too,
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
Hey, again, big props for sending it in. It's not bad. The clarity is awesome. It's fairly clean. It's just there's a little something going on there, that just a little tweak in the process, and it'll come right around, I think, for sure.
We appreciate it for sure. Anytime someone sends us some of their beer, for sure, we're not going to say no.
I hope he still has a couple bottles of this himself, because it'd be great to taste it at home.
Yeah.
And then leave a comment in the video based on what we've said, and see if you get the same thing, or tell us if we're totally,
out of our minds.
Out of our minds.
That's right. Which we tend to be. All right, so that's that. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate the submission.
Thanks, bro.
We were thinking that maybe we would do some kind of recipe. I brew it, you brew it.
Yeah, we're talking about changing up the format
a little bit. So stay tuned for that. I think there. Still, some people write to us and want to send us a homebrew. We will not turn that down, that's for sure.
Yep.
But I think we have something brewing sometime soon. We'll probably post a recipe, and then Mike and I will brew it separately, and then whoever else wants to brew it, we can do a whole exchange using that recipe.
We'll sing Kumbaya. It's going to be awesome.
Do we sing? I don't plan to do that. For John and Mike, brew-tease.com. Brew on.
Cheers.
Cheers.